Hi, I'm Mary Houle. I'm a longtime gardener and Richmond resident. The area we live in here in Richmond is a solid zone 4, and today I'm going to talk about seed saving. Let's get started. It's not always necessary to save seed. It's something that you kind of have to like because seeds are so available in our area. You can go to any hardware store and they have seeds for sale, or any garden center. They have them at Walmart. You can buy them at Johnny's Seeds up in Maine, and they're readily available. But sometimes there's a seed that you go, boy, I'd really like to save the seeds of that double pink hollyhock. And those are the kinds of seeds that you might deem worthy of saving. I don't save squash seeds or pumpkin seeds because the beautiful pollinators that we have cross-pollinate everything. So you would never get true unless it's an heirloom, and that's a very difficult thing to manage. Say, well, I'm only going to plant stuff that's heirloom. You don't have the variety when you exclusively go for heirlooms. It's nice to have hybrids here and there, but if you absolutely want to save seeds, there's a couple that I save every year just because they're so easy. It's hard not to save them. This is an example. I'll pour it out here so you can see it. This is an example of a seed that I saved from a little, I don't even know what the name of the seed was, but I'm a gardener, and not identifying it didn't mean I wasn't going to try to save the seed. So this is just, they look like almost like little dandelion puffs with little black seeds coming out of them. One of the things I do to start collecting the seeds is I will take this is just a piece of newspaper, which I folded up and clipped on the edges so that it made a little box. And typically I will also line it with a sheet of paper towel. One sheet of paper towel is enough to get you started, because what you'll do is you'll take your clippers out, and say we're going after dill, for an example. That's an easy thing to clip. So you clip the dill and it falls in here. And what happens is you will see little bugs scurrying around and saying, yikes, we don't want to go to Mary's house today. So they'll exit as fast as they can. I will also use this when I clip off the heads of chives, the purple chives head. I will use it when I clip off the tops of oregano. Just clip it off and let it fall in here. And what are a couple of other things that I might get? Basil, not so much, because basil is just so easy to buy a new package of. In fact, I bought 8 ounces of basil seeds. I don't think I'm going to have to buy another package of basil seeds for the rest of my life. Rudbeckia, black-eyed Susans are just lovely flowers to hold over, dry the heads, air dry the heads, and tear apart the centers. I'll tear one of these apart just as an example. If this was one of the heads of the Rudbeckia or even a daisy, just peel it apart and all the seeds fall to the bottom. So that's all you have to do to extricate the seeds from a black-eyed Susan or from a daisy, Shasta daisy, or the typical yard daisy, which I'm told is invasive. Oh, well, it's so pretty. So when the seeds fall down, oh, I guess I've skipped a step. Air drying is what I typically do with the seeds that I use for harvest. This is a tray from my Excalibur dehydrator. I do not dehydrate the seeds because when you put seeds to the process of heat, it kills the germination process. But I have a 9-tray dehydrator, and I will use every other slot to air dry herbs such as dill, oregano, chives, but it's perfectly well suited for that application. Again, no heat, just set it in the dehydrator on the tray, and when you take it out, the silicone mesh sheets are very easy to curl, and then just pour it into a container of your choosing, and then from that container you want to put it into, say, a plastic bag or into a mason jar. What you want to do is protect the seed from heat, water, and light. Some seeds need heat to germinate. Some seeds need light to germinate. But while they're in the dormant stage, which is what these are now, they don't need any of that. They just need to be left alone. So this is a bunch of dill seed. And oddly enough, I didn't have any. So I sent away for some seed packages And I thought, well, I can make these easy enough. So what I did is I photocopied the seed package, which has all the necessary information. What's the name of the seed? What is the variety? The date you collected it, and any growing notes that you need. So what I'll do is I'll just take this piece of paper and fold it up, fold it over, and I've made a perfect collection envelope for my dill seeds. Turn this into a little bit of a funnel. Down it goes. It's in, and these are perfectly dry. I turn the top over. I don't have any tape with me, but I would tape that, fill out the growing information, that it's dill seed, the date it was collected, and this is all set for next year now. These are bone dry. So I would typically store these maybe where I store my stationery in envelopes. Not that I have a lot of stationery, but I have a set of greeting cards, and as you go through the greeting cards, it's nice to have the aroma too. The dill will give you aroma. If you have basil seeds, you'll get that aroma. And when you send out a greeting card to someone, they go, oh, what is that? So that's kind of nice. Maybe not so much with onions. But this is an example of how it's easy to store a small seed. Similarly, you would be able to do it with the onions. This is chive blossom. So I'm just going to put that down on the paper to start with. And I will fold it up, fold it over, just making an envelope out of it, that's all. Fold the top, back, and then fill out the information. These are chives. When did I put them in the envelope? Where I collected them is not as important, but any growing notes, they're chives. I could also use these envelopes to hold these if I wanted to use these in cooking. None of the things that I grow in my garden are ever treated with any pesticides. When you dry herbs, I don't usually wash them. When I hang them to dry or when I put them in my dehydrator, any bugs that are on there take off. So I don't worry about anything lingering on any of the herbs once I've dried them. But sometimes you will find, as these dry, again, I don't dry these in the kitchen around food, but if I'm just air drying this is another example of a drying container. This is food grade, what is it now? Sprouting tray. A food grade sprouting tray is perfectly acceptable. Again, I would, unless it's a large seed, line it with a paper towel, put your seeds on there, and the paper towel absorbs the regular sheet of paper, not so much, but you would put this on a paper towel for it to dry. You could put it back into one of these little containers. This is an example of a larger one that I made. This is an example. I'll pour these out so you can see these. These are cleome seeds. A friend of mine gave me some cleome plants, and I thought, wow, they were such beautiful plants. And I only got one color, so I'm pretty sure that when I replant these, it's going to be the same color that was planted. So again, these are about as small as basil seeds or the seeds that I get from the chive. So I'm going to fold this up, fold it over again, fold the top back, make sure I label it all, cleome, the date it was collected, any special notes that I need for growing for next season, so that it's all set to go. Now, so I don't forget what I've done today, I'm going to put these seeds in the containers where they were drying, so I'll remember to label them. So seed starting is going to be beneficial to you if you've saved seeds that you just totally can't find anywhere else. I had an occasion where somebody gave me a double flower head pink hollyhock, and since I had no other hollyhocks, I was pretty sure that they would grow consistent with the size, shape, and color that it was the previous year. Haven't planted them yet, so that's something that we may have for a future video. This is an example of a seed storage container. This is just a little yogurt type container, and in it I have raspberry seeds, of all things. I put a bunch of raspberries in the blender, made a raspberry sauce out of it, and at the bottom of the blender, all these raspberry seeds, and I thought, well, maybe I'll put them outside and plant them. So I just let them air dry, and then I just slid them back into this container. But this the raspberry that this came from was so awesome. Raspberries tend to be a little on the sour side. This was an awesome raspberry though, and to me it's going to be worth trying. Even though I'm not going to formally plant this in a pot, I'll cast it somewhere where I go, oh yeah, that's where I put the raspberry seeds. And the other thing I'll do is I'll put a marker there. And the marker typically is something that is a flag with fluorescent tape on it. So I go, oh yeah, there's something over there. You have to do something to remember. And putting a flag as an example of where you've planted something, my flag. If you say, well, that's where I'm going to plant the raspberry seeds, and you put a flag in there, it's very easy just to write on the tag, raspberries. And if something comes up, great. If nothing comes up, you haven't lost anything. But it's worth trying anyway. There's some raspberries that are worth their weight in gold. I have a set growing at my house that grow thornless, and it's pretty exciting. People are really surprised. Look, it's thornless. And then this time of year, there's something called Anne. It's a yellow raspberry, and it's called Anne, A-N-N-E. And it's ready. It's ready now, and it will be producing not a lot, but at this time of year to find a fresh raspberry is just awesome. So it's worth trying some seed starting. You may not succeed on the first time, but don't give up, especially if there's something that you say, I don't think I can ever find that again. Definitely look for seed catalogs for some things that you find to be rare, but it's worth trying. Again, I don't bother any of the, I certainly don't, the pumpkins tend to cross with every squash, and it turns out that all I get is gourds. So to me, it's not worth it. It's worth saving the seeds to roast them, though, because they are mighty tasty. Well, that's it for today for seed starting. Thank you very much. Happy gardening.